2023 African Cup of Nations finally happening in January, and guess where it happened? A country where a war has divided into two due to political and economic conflicts that actually happened some years ago. And the last time this competition was played in this country was 1984. And guess the country? It's no other place but the host of the current Africa Cup of Nations, Ivory Coast, where all the best footballers, all the best African football countries are gathering together since January 13th of 2024. And a lot of actions has happened, and the dramas have started coming in. The big names are falling apart, and the unknown doors are emerging as surprise team, and players that the least expected are the players that are doing most right now. And I give it up for the top scorer at the moment. It's no other person but the SU of Equatorial Guinea. Who would have thought of this? Who would have imagined that an unknown players like that would be a lead scorer of the current edition of the Africa Cup of Nations taking place in Ivory Coast in West Africa right now? Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to ALASCOSPICETV Sport Update. My name is Harry, and I'll be giving you some information about the Africa Cup of Nations. And it's been really fantastic, and really fantastic. For those who didn't know so much about the history of the African Cup of Nations, Africa Cup of Nations actually started in the year 1957, and you won't believe the countries that actually started this prestigious competition. The most prestigious competition in the continent of Africa is Africa Cup of Nations, and you won't believe it. You won't believe the country that actually started this competition, and they are the least country that are doing well presently in the history of the tournament. Anyway, for those who are not aware, the first edition of the Africa Cup of Nations was held in year 1957, and later in year 1968. It was held every 2 years. It's still the same till today. The Cup of Nations was held 2 years ago in Cameroon, where the Senegal emerged winner, and 2 years after we're having another one, and it's turned for Ivory Coast to host it, and it's wonderful. So as I was saying, the first few countries that initiated or birthed the idea of African Cup of Nations, it's no other country but the most country with the most winning history, Egypt, Sudan. I was shocked to discover that Sudan is among the country that actually started Africa Cup of Nations. So we have Egypt, Sudan, Ethiopia. They hardly qualify. After so many years, Ethiopia has not participated in a football. There's no, I'm not surprised, because I don't think that football is really for the, the Ethiopians, because they are, you know what they are good at. No need going there. And the fourth member of the founding nation of the African Cup of Nations, South Africa. South Africa. Imagine that. So we have Egypt, Sudan, Ethiopia, and South Africa as the founding nation of African football. Wow. A lot has really happened, and a lot will continue to happen, and it's wonderful. Let me just give you more information about the history of the continent football. The Africa Cup of Nations was first held in February 1957 in Khartoum in Sudan, where Egypt defeated the host nation. Egypt defeated Sudan in the final to win the trophy that is become a champion of Africa. As at that time, Egypt, the man from Egypt, Abdel Aziz Abdullahi Salam, was the president, the first CAF president, and he was the donor of the cup at that time, and the cup was named after him as at that time in 1957. So the first winner ever of the history of CAF, CAF and the Africa Cup of Nations was Egypt, and Egypt has won it 7 times to date. Hallelujah. Let's go. Talk and leave. No time to tell time. We just keep going. Africa has a huge history when it comes to football. And how many times has the Africa Cup of Nations has been organized so far? so far, how many times has it been organized? The Africa Cup of Nations has been since 1957 to date. The Africa Cup of Nations has been organized for 33 times, and 14 different nations have won it. 40 different nations have won it, and as time goes by, I will bring the names of the country that have won it, and who is, like, I think I've mentioned that Egypt is the most successful nation in the cup history of Africa Cup of Nations, winning the tournament 7 times. 3 trophies has been awarded during the tournament history, with Ghana and Cameroon winning the first 2 versions to keep after each of them won a tournament 3 times. The current trophy was first awarded in 2002. We really need to do much in terms of football development in Africa, to be quite honest. And how many teams are participating in the Africa Cup of Nations? Because I think that viewers out there need to know how many numbers of teams that are coming together in Africa. First and foremost, according to United Nations, there are 54 nations in Africa. 54. For those of you in the Western world, I hope you take note of that. There are 54 nations in Africa. Then 24 of them come together to participate, and before they participate in this, there are qualification matches that are being played across all the 54 countries, and those who qualified, 24 out of the 54 qualified, and they come together as the grand finale to compete for the final trophy, and the tournament takes the period of 3 months to 4 months, which is means 3 weeks. Beg your pardon. 3 weeks to 4 weeks, which is the period of a month that the competition will be going on. And this edition that is happening in Ivory Coast actually started on January the 13th in West Africa time, which is January 14th in Southeast Asia time. And without wasting much time, I would like to take us on the event that has been happening. The opening match actually started by the host nation, Ivory Coast, taking on Guinea-Bissau, and that game ended by 2-0. 2 goals all reply. Nigeria played the second match of the opening with Equatorial Guinea, which ended 1-1. Then the next match, the second match, was played on the this day 2 match. That's correct. Day 2 match was played on the 15th of January 2024. We saw Egypt taking on Mozambique. Unexpected event that happened that day, that the most winning team in the history of the competition went on a 2-2 draw with Mozambique. Ghana, their first game, lost to Cape Verde. With Ghana, Cape Verde taking the lead 2-1. We saw Senegal playing against Gambia, and Senegal showing their domination. They are the reigning African champion, and they dominated the game from start to finish. I mean, Senegal, I think they are feeding the youngest team in the tournament, and the 20 years old boy, 18 years old boy, and the 20 years old boy, he won the man of the match on the opening game, and it's such a fantabulous. I just give the name of the guy I'm talking about. He did so well, so marvelously well. His name is Kamara. Kamara scored 2 goals, 2 beautiful goals in the opening game. A 20 years old boy. Man, there's a lot coming for Senegal in this tournament, and I know that Nigeria is still in the tournament. Cameroon is still in the tournament. Other favorite nations are still in the tournament, but I'm rooting for the defending champion to do more wonders, because they have one of the best teams, and still the only team that have 100% record from the group stage. They won all their 3 matches, and they advanced with 9 points. So they top their table. Senegal beat Gambia 3-0. Cameroon first game of the tournament was against Guinea, and they drew 1-1 against Guinea. And Algeria first game of the tournament was against Angola, and it was 1-1 game. There's so many draws in the opening day. And the opening day for another West African country, Burkina Faso take on Mauritania on a lone goal win over Mauritania. And another first game for Tunisia versus Namibia. Namibia. Who could have imagined Namibia winning against Tunisia? What? I didn't see that coming. Anyway, Namibia took the win home on the 1-goal lead over Tunisia. Surprisingly, Mali defeated South Africa on their first opening game with a 2-1. Morocco 3-win over Tanzania. That was expected result, and DR Congo drew 1-1 against Zambia. And that is the first performance for the 24 teams that actually are participating in the tournament at the moment. Then on the match day 2, let's see the result of the match day 2. That's where the drama of the tournament actually began. On the day 2, we started seeing emotional display of both the fans and the players in the field. The first game of the day 2 was between Equatorial Guinea taking on Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau suffered in the hand of Equatorial Guinea by a humiliating defeat by 4-2. Actually, this Equatorial Guinea team, there are still another team to look at for the championship. I hope that they don't make some mistakes, because that team is really together. Then the second match, we saw Ivory Coast taking on Nigeria, and luckily for Nigeria, they went away with 1-goal lead. And the second game for Egypt had a 2-2 draw with Ghana. Did you watch that game? Did you see the drama between the Ghanaians and the Egyptians in the field? Ghanaians took the lead and they gave it back to the Egyptians. And the Egyptians, you know who they are. They are like the Brazil of Africa when it comes to football. They don't miss any chance in front of them. So the Ghanaians on giving a back pass and to the goalkeeper on the long range, and Musa Mohammed just took advantage of that, and phew, that was an equalizing goal when the Ghanaians were already taking the lead. So that game ended 2-2 in a 2-2 draw for both teams. Cape Verde on their second match disgraced Mozambique by 3-0. Like 3-0, all reply. That was the second match. The Senegal second match against the giant, one of the giant of African football, Cameroon, the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon. I really like Indomitable Lions of Cameroon because the likes of Eto'o and those other guys, the current Sogbana Song, Regabet, and all the rest of them that have played, these people dominated African football for many years. So whenever you mention the African football, you must actually give the credit to who is due, and you cannot exclude Cameroon because they have won the tournament for 4 times, one ahead of Nigeria, who is currently 3 times champion. Hallelujah. So let's move forward. So Senegal defeated Cameroon, and that was emotional game for Samuel Eto'o, who issued a warning later to the players and how disappointed he is. He was, and he still is actually, though they had a relief 2 days ago. The Guinea went on against Gambia. Gambia played so well against Guinea. Luckily enough, I was up to see that game. It was a really wonderful game. They were playing so well. They were attacking the Guineans, but one mistake from the defense, the Guineans took advantage. And remember Naby Keita. Naby Keita is the current captain of the Guinean national team, who was the former active squad member of Liverpool FC of England, who came on as a substitute. And that's the humiliating part of that game, is so that he's such a humble guy. Like, if it were to be some countries that we know, the captain will fight his way to be on the starting list, but Naby Keita came on as a substitute during the second half of the game against Gambia, which solidified their 1-0 win over Gambia. Now, Algeria surprisingly played 2-2. I don't know what's really going on with Algeria. Algeria is a team that anybody who is current and covers out with African football knows that Algerians are very, very good, because the North Africans, they play fantastic football, and they are fast and they are determined. They are still kind of a Brazil and Argentina attitude of African football, but I don't know what's happening. Last edition in Cameroon, they were exited out of the tournament in the group stage, and this time again, result has not been different. Anyway, they went on 2-2 draw against the West African country Burkina Faso. Mauritania lost to Angola on 3-2 goal encounter. Tunisia, again for the second time, drew with Mali 1-1. I didn't see that coming. Did you? Let's move on. Morocco went on a head 1-1 draw with DR Congo. This competition is going to put a lot of surprises, no doubt, because the results so far are saying the underwears, and Puddings have been proven wrong in all their predictions so far over the tournament, and no one can get it right. No one can get it right. And I'm surprised as well. Zambia played 1-1 draw against Tanzania. Now come on level now. Then South Africa defeated the upcoming Namibia by 4 goals to 2. 4 goals to nothing in the match day 2. Man, let's see. That's not all. There's still more surprises coming right after that. Then in the last day, the last match of the group stages, which actually ended yesterday, which is the early morning of our time here in Cambodia. Actually, it goes around 6 o'clock Africa time, and 3 hours after that, which is like 9 p.m., which is 12 o'clock here and 3 a.m. 12 midnight here and 3 a.m. here. So for those of us that are working, we might not just have the time, but I'm doing the best I can to keep up with the information, to keep up with the update in order to provide you information. So easy, I'm not gonna try to support my husband, understand. Africa Cup of Nations is the biggest event of football event in Africa, and there is no African on earth that, even if they are not watching football, even my wife will not watch football, my wife is keeping update on the performances of all the Africa Cup of Nations, surprisingly. And I mean, I'm not surprised, but unexpectedly, because I know that there are so many Africans out there who are not actually watching, but they have interest knowing that this is a part of their identity and their representative on earth. And CAF football is an interesting thing to everyone, which is why I'm doing all I can, sacrificing my sleepy time and work time, and come here to give you updates. So now, match day 3. Let's see what happened on match day 3. Another surprises and another emotional. The biggest humiliating event actually happened in the match day 3. I didn't see that coming, and I'm sure you watching out there, you didn't see that coming. Equatorial Guinea, rated below 100 according to FIFA, with Ivory Coast rated between 20 and 30 in the world football. I mean, in African football. Oh my God, the first 10 country in the world in terms of rating, playing against below 100 or something rated the African nation football. Equatorial Guinea. Look what they did to Ivory Coast, the host nation. Imagine the crowd, the support, and everyone that is there. I mean, just imagine that. Who could have? I mean, yes, we know there could be winning or losing or draw, but guess the result. Oh my God, I was so shocked watching that, and I was just thinking about fantastic players that have ever come out of Ivory Coast. Thinking, you know who I'm about to mention. But guess what? Solomon Kalou, Yaya Toure, Kolo Toure, those are wonderful players. Then the Ogakpadakpada of them all, Didier Drogba, who was right there in front of him, sitting down when his team is being humiliated by Equatorial young upcoming country, defeating Ivory Coast by 4 goals on reply. It could have been 5. It could have been 5. It could have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals. Then the player missed the last one. I watched that game and I couldn't do anything. I almost cried for Ivory Coast. The game ended 4-0. The host country losing in front of your people. The president was there. I watched him. He covered his face with a face cap. Oh, what a humiliating event. I really pity Ivory Coast. This is not a really good tournament for them. But anyway, good thing. I have some good news about Ivory Coast towards the end of the video. And the match day 3, yes, the second match of that day was Guinea-Bissau against Nigeria. Nigeria walked past Guinea-Bissau. It was an own goal. So Nigerian team has not been tested. Though the match against Ivory Coast could be something we can weigh their performance on, but then we need to see them where they are going to go head-to-head with their next opponent. And the third match of that day was, what's it called? Mozambique. Mozambique took on Ghana, and again, Ghana took the lead with 2 goals ahead with Jordan Ayew scoring 2 spot kick, a penalty kick, and just the last minute, 93 minutes to go. 93 minutes played, a few more minutes extra time added. Ghana conceived 2 goals. And this is the second time Ghana is being exited from the Africa Cup of Nations. terribly without winning a match, and the fans are not, they are not happy at all. The FA is not happy. The coach has been sacked. The English dude who is taking over as the coach of the team has been sacked by the FA even before they can return back to the country. A moment after their last game, the man was issued a sack letter and is out of the Ghana national team at the moment. They are coachless. You can say that. It's safe to say. Anyway, and the fans actually went really hard on the Ghana national team as well as the Ivorian team. They smack all their glasses on the conveying buses from the stadium to the hotel, and I'm sure you've seen that in the news. In case you have not seen that, you can go and look up on Instagram and YouTube. It's still Alaska Spice TV bringing you the sport news on Africa Cup of Nations that is actually happening. My name is Harry. If you are new to this channel, be there. You are onto the spiciest page on the airways, the Alaska Spice TV, and I'm your daily host, Harry Spice, reaching you on this daily station from the golden city of Phnom Penh, Cambodia, the kingdom of wonder. Keep it going. All right, the next match of the evening was an emotional one. How many of you remember the game against Ghana, Egypt against Ghana in the second match? The leading man for the Egyptians actually got injured, and it's been sidelined by injury, and he's not getting to play. So the Egyptians went on to get to lock home with Cape Verde, and it was 2-2 draw. Guinea against Senegal, which is the last match of Senegal. They've not come to joke. Unlike some countries, they play with points. Senegal, they have a Alex Ferguson approach. And Senegal defeated Guinea by 2 goals on reply. Gambia played against Cameroon, and Cameroonians looking for a way to redeem their image and to stay on the tournament, because even if they had to draw, they would still have to be at the mercy of head-to-head rule. And they didn't want that. The Indomitable Lions did very well by overcoming the Gambians, who wanted to remain in the tournament, by 3 goals to 2, which was 5 goals scored in that encounter, the last game. So the Cameroonians, by that result, advanced to the round of 16. Let's go. Mauritania defeated Algeria. I don't know. Somebody needs to pray for that Algeria team. Then in the last game of day 3, there was 2. South Africa had a draw with Tunisia. Bafana that hardly win a game. Bafana that hardly win a game had a draw, 0-0 draw with Tunisia. Tunisia? Something is wrong somewhere. Namibia also went on a 0-0 draw against Mali. They are out of the tournament. Tanzania, 0-0 draw against DR Congo. I hope we know what really happened to the DR Congo and the Gambians, and the difficulties they went through to get to this tournament, how they traveled from one country to another. They played breakdown. There was no money. There was no funding coming from anywhere. Some people have to make some donation to get the players out of their stranded airport to get to the tournament. It's really difficult for these guys right now. So I think it was really emotional to see them leave. But the final game of the group stage was between Zambia and Morocco. And Morocco's, the North Africans, they didn't want to leave so fast. Morocco's, they are the only African country that have reached the semi-final stage of the World Cup tournament. When I see the last one when they play now, so they've become the highest team so far, highly rated team in the whole of Africa at the moment. So let's see how the game ended and how they qualified. Equatorial Guinea topped their group ahead of Nigeria. Don't say I mentioned that. Equatorial Guinea topped the group ahead of Nigeria with 7 points, equal point with Nigeria, but on the aggregate of goal difference, they score more goals in the 3 games so far, more than Nigeria, who just have 1 goal. So Nigeria and Equatorial Guinea qualified from the Group A, which is the first group. Meanwhile, Ivory Coast later qualified on a best losers account after Cameroon defeated their last opponent, Guinea. All right, so there's the Group A. So we have 3 qualifiers from the Group A. We have Equatorial Guinea and Nigeria and Ivory Coast, and the rest of Guinea-Bissau on their way home, or maybe already home right now. We have Cape Verde. Cape Verde qualifier on 7 points, and Egypt, based on the poor performance in their group. Ghana couldn't win anything. Mozambique couldn't win anything, and Cape Verde had 7 points. Egypt qualified. So poor result so far for the first time. So the Egyptians went on to the round of 16 with 3 points. Don't forget that Ghana and Mozambique, they're probably on their way home or already at home. And in the Group C, we have Senegal qualified with 9 points, 100% performance, win, win, win. While the Cameroon win, lose, and draw with 4 points. Guinea qualified based on the second best loser of the tournament, and this is a rule. I can explain that, but time does not permit. Maybe much later when I make another video. Then Group D, we have Angola qualify on 7 points, and Burkina Faso qualify with 4 points. This group is very, let's not say it's poor. So Mauritania and Nigeria are kicked out of the tournament, and we have Mali with 5 points, and South Africa, Bafana qualify the round of 16. Well, it was a very good show of football in 2010 when Bafana hosted the World Cup in South Africa for the first time in the soil of Africa that the most prestigious world football was held in Africa. So kudos to those guys. They have good names, they have good football stadium, they have, but then they lack ambitious footballers in South Africa. No offense to anybody. Then in Group F, we have Morocco and DR Congo qualified, and we have the likes of Zambia and Tanzania knocked out of the tournament. Now the round of 16. What is it going to be like? Who is going to be in the round of 16, and what is happening? When is it happening? We see that the first match of the round of 16 is going to be a very, very interesting game. The round of 16 is the features are already out, and I'm just going to give to us very quite shortly because a lot of time must be spent here, and I don't intend to stay so long. So the first match of the day will be Saturday. 2 matches are going to be played. Angola taking on Namibia. The first timer, they made it to the round of 16, as I mentioned earlier, and they are taking on Angola, the North African country. Nigeria will be playing against their old rivalry. Cameroon have dominated Nigeria in this CAF football for many years until when the JJ Kocha did the wonders. And I was back home that I ran out of the house and I went on the street with my bare foot, shouting and screaming, and there was a huge jubilation in the whole of Nigeria. And the government declared an holiday for that victory. JJ Okocha became an African Footballer of the Year, BBC African Footballer of the Year that year when that incident happened. So Nigeria is taking on Cameroon, the neighboring country. Equatorial Guinea will be going against Guinea. Egypt taking on DR Congo. It's a win-win. It's a win-win for these two, Equatorial Guinea and Nigeria. I can predict that Equatorial Guinea will beat Guinea and Egypt will beat DR Congo. Egyptians, if they are out of the tournament, could have been easier. But once they have one opportunity to stay on, they will play with their last breath to make sure that they continue in the tournament. So the next one will be played on Monday. Remember, it's not going to be regular football because a lot of teams has been eliminated, and the round of 16, others 8 of them are going to be eliminated. So the number of matches are going to be reducing according to the rules of the game and the numbers of teams that are available. Still on Alaska Spice TV, and you're watching me live on Phnom Penh, the beauty, wonderful city of Cambodia. And my name is Harry, and you are on to the best and the spiciest TV station. Online TV station in the airways, Alaska Spice TV. Talk I live, no time to tell time. Stay tuned. The boy from Africa doing it from the continent of Asia. Reaching you over there, wherever you are. That's what's up. All right, let's one. The next match will be Cape Verde taking on Mauritania. That's a win. Senegal against Ivory Coast. Senegal against Ivory Coast. Somebody's gonna get hurt, and a lot of asses is gonna be gay. What? I am supporting Senegal against Ivory Coast. Who are you supporting? Let's hear your opinion. Mali against Burkina Faso. It's a 50-50 match. Morocco against South Africa. The Moroccans are definitely up for it. They're going to defeat South Africa. Am I being fair? Yes, this is football. In football, when you know the game and you're giving your own analysis, you have to be, you have to be quite fair at being honest. This is football. I don't have to politicize my opinion or anything, but the truth be said, Morocco, I think by now they know they need to get their asses together and bring the best of them against South Africa, who are hungry to be back in the top flight of football. Like I said earlier, guess the country that started African football: Ethiopia, Sudan, Egypt, and South Africa. And only two among these four are still standing tall with their head up in the participation and at the top level performance of the tournament to date, which is Egypt and manageably South Africa. And still in the round of 16 of the Africa Cup of Nations happening right there in the nation of West Africa, Ivory Coast, also known as Cote d'Ivoire. Ivory Coast or Cote d'Ivoire is a French-speaking country colonized by the French some years ago, and according to the history, the country was really devastated by civil war some years ago, and there were a lot of conflict, there were a lot of issues, and they've not actually had the tournament. They have not hosted it for a very long time, and the last time they hosted it was 1984. I don't remember how old I was. Was I born at that time? You don't need to know. Or it's just important that they hosted the tournament in 1984 and now they are hosting it again years after. Where are the mathematicians? Give me the math. What is the number between 1984 and 2024? Is that a coincidence? 1984. 2024, they are hosting it again. How many years is that be? Let me know in your comment section. Let me know how many years it is. I'm not a mathematician. I'm not sure if I did well, but I know I passed my maths when I was in school. My name is Harry. Thank you so much for being there, and thank you for supporting. Thank you for watching ALASCOSPICETV. Africa Cup of Nations is still going on. Let's keep supporting the team, whether your country is out of the tournament or not. Let's support the African Cup of Nation in Ivory Coast. It's so far there has not been any case of casualty or the fans misbehaving. In Africa, we love football. We love football and we live for it. And this is just a few number of people or countries that are come together that are actually participating due to the rules and regulations and qualifications that made them to be in the final stage of the Africa Cup of Nations. I'll still coming back to you again after the round of 16 is being played, and I'll give you an update because I can't keep up with the daily update. Nah, big work. You understand? Nah, the work hard. But I love football. According to Patrice Evra of former Manchester United, he always say, I love this game. God bless you. See you on the other side. Good luck to all the teams in the round of 16. And it's been ALASCOSPICETV. My name is Harry. Keep supporting. No time to tell time. Cheers.